Good evening and welcome to the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater. My name is Pat Baer and I'm going to be your announcer for the evening. I started doing the intro to the theater. And I haven't, it just came to me like it happened in the moment. It started, as soon as I started extending the good evening, that came out. And it's really weird. This is like a sense memory from like 2019. Like it's embedded in me. Last week's throwing the Bear Cave, the Lego, and also I can throw in the Scythe emote because I get tier 2 access. This is the Build with Bear workshop. My name is Pat Bear. I'm going to build a model kit or a Lego set depending on the night. And in this case, it's a Lego set. 3 years, 3 years, 3 years, says Aristofan, who subscribed to tier 2, 36 months on a 36-month streak. Let's throw also, again, the Bear Cave, the Lego, the site, the emote, or just saying hi or congrats. Thank you so much for your continued rockin' support, Aristofan. That is 3 years. You've been here for a while, quite a long time. I've been doing this for a while myself, and you've been here for three-fourths of the time that I've been doing this. Because we are now, my 4-year anniversary of being an affiliate just happened. So the longest you can subscribe is that about 4 years. So I believe that Harold will be there very soon. We'll hit the 4-year mark, um, which is wild, just a wild thing. But yes, I started doing a variation of the intro, uh, which was good evening and welcome to the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater. At this time, we're going to invite you to silence all cell phones, pagers, psychics, PDAs, iPhones, iPads, anything that would make noise and disrupt the show. And then I would do something about, if the bar was closed or was closing. Mr. Bob just subscribed. That's 48 months. There we go. That's 48 months. Thank you so much, Mr. Bob, for doing that. I appreciate it very much. Thank you for your continued support. That is wild. 48 months. There we go. In 46 more years, I'll have been 49 out of 50 years. There you go. But yeah, I would do that announcement. Hey, Lord Crashington, I would do the announcement at the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater. I would do Welcome to Upright Citizens Brigade Theater Chelsea or Upright Citizens Brigade Theater East Village, depending on where I was at. Would say the name of the theater when we had more than one in New York. Was it weird that I would say, please silence all cell phones, pagers, psychics, PDAs, iPhones, iPads, anything that would make noise, disrupt the show, and ruin everyone's good time? Yes, it's fucking weird that I said that, but that I was the only one that did. Because when I started, I would say, please silence all phones and sidekicks. Because when I started making announcements, people still had sidekicks. And then it evolved from there, and then I added arcane things like PDAs. Because it was everyone had an iPhone or a Google phone, um, an Android. Everybody had something eventually, but hey, maybe some people had pagers. Uh, yeah. So I would do like long announcements like that. And then, whatever business of the day sounds, hey, if you need to get a drink, get one now. Find your seats. There's no food allowed at the theater. No flash photography or videotaping of any kind is what I would say because, so this is a true fucking story. Here's a true UCB story. We had a free Monday night stand-up show at 11 p.m. And you're like, Pat, that's at 11 p.m. Even if it's free, who's going to show up for that? Well, you know who would show up? Anybody that wanted to see cool comics come by. Because Monday at 11, you would get to do this free show that had a good audience. Actually well-known stand-ups would pop in because they could do material for a good audience and try new stuff out. They had been up on stage trying things or doing shows that paid throughout the night, and then they would stop in. So you would have big names pop in to just like try stuff out. And then you'd have up and coming talent that was never going to say no to stage time that were also excited to see a great audience. So it was a great show, and you would get good names stopping in. And one night, Chris Rock came by. He had done a couple shows here and there around the city. He was working on new material. He knew the room was good. He was going to come in, which fucking rules. It's fucking awesome. Um, very cool. So he comes up. He starts doing some time. He stops. He looks at somebody in the front row and he says, "Hey, please stop filming." And keeps talking. Keeps doing his thing. He looks over again. "Hey man, I'm done if you don't stop." Goes back to talking, looks over, puts the mic on a stool, and walks off. He had done apparently like 7, 8 minutes. I didn't see this live. This is all reports, and he just was done. And then the host Jeremy had to come out, or not the host. Jeremy wasn't hosting. I can't remember who the host was. Jeremy was the producer. Whoever was hosting had to come out and be like, "Hey everybody, this sucks." Um, And so then we were just like the next day, an email went out that said, "Hey, before every show, please make sure you say, don't take flash photography and don't record anything." Because it sucks that Chris Rock felt like he had to like not perform. He was doing it for free. He's doing us a huge favor. So that was my thing where and when people be like, "Well, does it really matter if someone like takes their phone out?" And I would just tell them that. I'd be like, "Well, yeah, it really mattered for like 150 people that one person had to be an asshole." So it's just like that was you always said that. Um, and we said no food because the original space was in a basement. So what happens when you get crumbs in a basement is that you get vermin. So we had to be like, "Hey, don't have food." Also, because there was a New York Times write up about a show where the person doing the write up specifically mentioned how someone in the front row was eating popcorn and how it's so relaxed at UCB. You can even have a snack in the front row. And it's like, no, all right, we're gonna clamp down on that shit. Um, but yeah, it's my brain does that now and again where I just get into a rhythm of the thing I've said a million times, which in this case obviously was that announcement. Um, and it's real weird that that happened. And I guess that's the intro for the stream, and we're getting into model kit building. Hey, Dirty, welcome. Happy to have you here. I'm going to retweet my tweet, and then we're going to get in, and we're doing Lego tonight. Sorry, pardon me. It's Lego time, so I'm going to go retweet my tweet, try to get the word out here that we're doing some stuff, and then we're going to get into building. Oh, also, before the stream officially started, I did get a spam bot message, and it's been a while since I had one of those, and it must have been a new bot because it got through all of my blocked bot stuff, and I was very surprised. Anyway, so we already built on Monday. We did the space mining mech, which is in the bottom right of the photo. We're gonna build right now. We're gonna build the other two because it's a 3-in-1, so you can build the three things. I broke all the pieces down and knolled them, and right now we're gonna start building the tall walker, that the real tall friend. We're gonna build that, and then we'll then disassemble and work on the transport. Um, I need to send out an email to my $5 no sorry my $10 patrons to see if to have them vote on what I do next for my backlog. I've got I think 4 options for them, so we'll get something cool, don't you worry. Tall Walker, star of Fast and Furious. Yes, Paul Walker is my favorite actor from that franchise. Okay. Um, hey friends, let's start off tonight. Jerry says, if I told you Ocean Conflict Royal War was a One Piece mobile game, would you believe me? Um, Ocean Conflict Royal War sounds like it's a fake. First of all, it sounds like a fake video game. Second of all, it sounds like a game that is trying to like steal the style of a game. I keep seeing so many knockoffs of One Piece and DBZ mobile games. Yeah, I still play One Piece Bon just about every day because it's like a puzzle game that I've never put a dime into and is still pretty fun to play. So like, yeah, and that's called One Piece bonbons. So like, names are whatever. Names could be weird. I think we're starting here by building in a little tiny robot to hang out with our big robot. Um, I guess let's talk about Gamescom. The EBZ one is Allied Eternal Fight Survivors. Oh, okay. Uh, yeah, I guess we could talk a little bit about Gamescom because so I haven't been keeping too close attention to Gamescom because a lot of the games there are not things that I'm interested in, but I did write down a few that kind of stick out to me. Now, these are games that I'm either interested in playing or I think I should be interested in playing, but for some reason it's just not. There's like a reason why it's not hitting me, and we'll kind of talk about that. I need a white 1x2. Where are my white 1x2s? There they are. We can kind of talk about. Let me just make sure my overhead camera is working right. We can maybe talk about like why it's not appealing to me. Um, So yeah, we can start with, as mentioned by Dirty, the new Saints Row, which is the Saint. It's not a new Saints Row. It's a Saints Row reboot or reimagining or restart. Um, and I have several thoughts about why I'm not excited about that. And the biggest one is that I don't think the first game was good, and I think the second game was okay, and then the third is where I think it got great. And the fourth is, you know, okay in some ways, and then, Gat Out of Hell isn't good per se. Um, so if you're telling me they're going to reboot Saints Row, but make it more like the first couple with like some wackier stuff, my big thing I say to you is, uh, if you don't have Daniel Day Kim in your game, why would I want to play it? If you don't have Daniel Day Kim as Johnny Gat, I don't quite understand what you're doing. Three was jumping out of the airplane with power. Hey, Bad Gunpla, happy to have you here. Four is Tron. Four is like the digital realm, alien stuff. You end up basically with Iron Man's suit at the end of it. Um, and I enjoyed it. Um, Three remastered is free on Epic as a promo. That's cool, Mr. Bob. That's good to see. Lord Crashton says, love 3, 4, and Gat Out of Hell. Don't care about the first two games. So, like I said, I think the first game was like a interesting take on GTA. And eventually they started doing more than just. Here's the thing: GTA got weird, and so Saints Row couldn't be weirder than GTA, so it just became its own weird thing and going in different directions. I mean, honestly, it basically at a certain point, Saints Row became like a Crackdown clone and or parody and a good one. I think it's good. It's just different. Um, I can't find a copy of the GB Whiskey Media video that uses power anymore. Oh yeah, I don't know where you would find that at this point because of copyright stuff and all that. Um, First game was so amazing to break with my friends in high school. It was the cheapest GTA clone and just busted. Yes, it was completely and totally busted. I didn't have an Xbox 360 at the time, so I just saw a mediocre GTA clone. Two had the poop truck that was kind of turned me off whatever its humor was supposed to be. Yeah, so it really did just was like a crass, weird, like, it's one of those things where you're like, when Dildo Bat is an inspired choice, when its predecessor was like, look, I'm not saying that Saints Row 2 had a piss gun, but if you told me that Saints Row 2 had a super soaker full of piss, I would believe you because that is kind of the vibe it had going for it. Um, and I don't I can't like I said I can't remember if that's true or not, but it feels true, which is bad. It's bad that feels true. Oh, I gotta get this piece here. Um, but if you're excited about more Saints Row, I'm excited for you. I personally would be more excited with the further adventures of the crew, um, because it did seem like they were setting up. Obviously, they didn't fully set up because of um, ending with "Get Out of Hell." Um, the idea that they would go and make it a time epic and then going through time, which is they allude to certainly at the end of four, was something that I'm certainly more interested than, hey, we're just doing it again but different, with new characters. Um, yeah, yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's just kind of my thought. It's mostly just I'm like, I don't, I don't know. There aren't GTA clones anymore. So I don't know what a GTA clone does in 2021. Uh, yeah, I don't know. You got to remaster the best game, totally. Uh, so Agents of here's the fun thing about Agents of Mayhem. I never played it. It looked bad. The tabletop game based on the property is apparently really fucking good. I have friends who love the Agent of Mayhem tabletop game. So that is such a strange legacy for them to have. That is like the legacy of that like attempted franchise is that there's a good tabletop game that was licensed, uses it. Um, so I believe, Dirty, that the Saints Row 2, to get that to run well, you need to use mods. It needs to be heavily modded to be playable. That even the Steam version isn't great. Now I can't give you the confidence on that. That is my recollection of people I know that played it. Was that it needed to be heavily modded by. I wonder if that guy still works there. The gentleman who ran the mod community, like the best place to get Saints Row mods for three and then four, eventually got hired to be on the community team. So I wonder, I imagine it's not because of layoffs and moving around and people getting different access to that. But I remember that to be the case at some point. All right, we finished our little robot friend, our little alien robot friend, and then we're going to work on the big robot friend. Put that there. Um, oh, it's a Vista era game. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Pretty broken on Steam since it's from the era PC ports. Console games weren't generally good. Yeah, yeah, I remember those. I remember those dark days. Um, I saw a Saints Row modder that joined the team passed away the other day. Oh, that is a shame to hear. Yeah, I certainly haven't been, keeping up with the community. But I played a lot of Saints Row 3 and a lot of Saints Row 4. I, played all the DLC, had a good time. You know, didn't particularly love Get Out of Hell. I think the main reason I didn't like Get Out of Hell was there would be I was playing as kid like I was playing like I was like I'm gonna do my Gat playthrough because you could change between the two, but at a certain point there were stages where you couldn't make your own choice; they made the choice for you, and that felt like a big cop out. Um, uh, yeah, I don't. I again, Lord Crash, no, I don't know either, but I know that there was somebody who kind of ran the website that collected and like worked on the tools to enable mods in the Saints Row three and the third and four community, and I know that person eventually ended up joining the comms team. So again, I don't know specifics, uh, but of course, all right. Two was one with the Tara Patrick DLC. Yes, I believe so. Yes. Uh, okay, so that's Saints Row. But also, like Saints are say, I don't know. Just Saints Row without those characters feels strange. It feels like a strange thing to reboot. Um, let's see. Let's talk about. So we don't know a lot about Marvel's Midnight Suns, except that Firaxis is making it. And that sounds fucking cool. Firaxis making a Marvel game that looked kind of like like it was like pseudo defenders. That seems neat. I don't have a lot to say about it, but it seems neat. It seems like that could be cool. Move my chair a little bit here. Sorry about that. There we go. So I'm settled now. That seemed neat, so I was like, oh, I might check that out. I'm looking forward to seeing more about that because the premise sounds kind of cool to me. Um, let's see. Could be cool. Hope there's more color in the suits. Yeah. So better ways to differentiate the characters, a little more lively. Yeah, I think that trailer felt more like kind of like tone, and my hope is that there's some optimization or options or something. You can mix things up. But yeah, I hear you. Um, you can play as April in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, and that is cool. I don't know if she's going to be a balanced character or a fun character or not, but I think it's fucking cool as hell that you can be April O'Neil. Um, Also, probably do not check out the April O'Neil tag on because it's trending. April is a trending topic on Twitter, and maybe don't click on that. The media finally gets its revenge, indeed. Yeah, you maybe don't want to check out that because it's real. Rule 34 in that particular one. I don't know this from testing. I know this from a friend of mine tweeting about that. I didn't check it out myself. I actually don't see trending topics because uh, I use a extension on Firefox that doesn't show them, which is incredible. It is incredible that I don't see that. April is also coming to that Nickelodeon Smash game. Oh, that's also awesome, Lashbrook. I didn't see that. Uh, that's cool. I didn't know that. That that Nickelodeon game looks fucking rad. By the way, uh, yeah, I blocked that whole section with uBlock Origin. Yeah, yeah. No, I my Twitter is I don't have anything over there. I don't get that. I don't get the who to follow. I only see those things when I use my phone. So it is pretty great to not see any of that. Yeah, because also a lot of times they'd be like old. They'd be like, this was a trending thing from 2 days ago, and I'm like, I don't care about that. Why do you think I care about these things in the first place? Um, let's see what else we got. Um, Hey, let's talk about Morgana the cat from PS5 is gonna be in Super Monkey Ball Mania. Also, Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania. It's a great name for the Super Monkey Ball game. Banana Mania. But yeah, I know that's a weird crossover, right? Like it's the cat from the Atlas game in the Sega Monkey Ball game. What? I'd like more details on this paid DLC. Yeah, I mean, it's just like, yeah, details, details are good, certainly. But mostly it's just like, wait, what? It's the second weirdest crossover that was announced in that Gamescom thing. I'll talk about the one that is the weirdest in a moment. Um, but uh, but that one is real. That one's real weird. It's just like a weird choice. The idea that they're just like, yeah, that cat's gonna be in there. I like that it seems to have its own stages with persona music and such in it. Yeah, that also, I mean, I agree. That's cool. It's cool that it's not just like, hey, we did a palette swap and we made this one look like a cat. I think that's cool. Um, Goes nicely with with Sonic Tells you Kazuma. Yeah, it's just to me, it's just like a weird. It's just a weird thing. It's a cool one, and hey, I'm up for cool shit. That's also weird shit. That's an A+ for me. Cool shit and weird shit. The Venn diagram of that, like that in that middle, I'm sitting there going, yeah. Um, okay, so we have to talk about the weirdest thing that was announced, which is the next season of Fall Guys, which is Fall Guys Jungle Book. Hey, what? Fall Guys Jungle Book. You know, the hot Disney property Jungle Book. The one everyone's talking about. Jungle Book. But now in Fall Guys. I don't care that it fits the theme, Lord Crashington, of jungle stuff. I'm saying, what? It what? Jungle Book in Fall Guys just doesn't make any sense to me. And like that's I guess that's where I'm at. It just doesn't make any sense to me. It just doesn't make any sense at all. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. Uh it's just a it's just it's not Jungle Cruise is a movie that came out. That's what I'm saying. There's already Jungle Cruise. So if it's jungle themed stuff, do the thing with the movie that came out. Instead, they're doing Jungle Book. I just don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me. Uh, I'll be all for the Rock being, yes, yeah, put the Rock and the costume in there. Like, I don't know, tie into the movie that's out, not the fucking incredibly old thing that, like, it's still good. I'm not here knocking Jungle Book. I'm not telling you Jungle Book is bad. Kind of fond memories of Jungle Book. Now, if it had been a Tailspin, now we're talking. You give yourself a Tailspin crossover. Oh, it's Fall Guys Tailspin. Now we're like, yeah, okay, yeah. All right, I get that. I like that. I like that a lot. Kick Cloud Kicker and your blue Shere Khan. Okay, yeah, I'm into that. Definitely way more into that than whatever's going on here. The pirate guy whose name I can't remember. Sure, Pirate King. I mean, I'm definitely more interested in that. Did anyone else try for any of the Gundam Expo kits? I'm proud to say I got the clear Hello Kitty Zaku and the Intergrade RX-782 painting model. I did not purchase anything because I don't have the money for that right now. If anybody else picked something up, hey, let us know. It's always cool to hear if you got something. I don't know why these things just live in here, but sure. These pieces just live in here and they don't do anything, as far as I can tell. That's weird. Um, but yeah, I didn't try for anything because money is tight right now, and so I did not try to use any of it for for Gundam stuff. There were some very cool things. I'm not particularly interested in the paint model kits things, but that RX or the Zaku 2 um, Hello Kitty Clear or the Zaku Hello Kitty Clear looked cool, and so I will admit that that did look very cool. But yeah, I didn't pick anything up. I guess I'm done talking about Gamescom stuff. If anybody else has anything from Gamescom that they were like, "Oh, Pat, you got to talk about this game that got announced," or like, I'm glad people are getting some Halo this year. I know you're not getting all the Halo you wanted, but I'm glad you're getting some of the Halo that you want. Um, uh, the more I see of the Vampire the Masquerade video game, the less I think it's gonna be good. I think it's diminishing returns from its first trailer. I think the more I see it, the more I'm like, ooh, oh, I don't know about this. Oh, I think I'm remembering previous Vampire the Masquerade games. Ooh. I'm excited for Alloy, yeah, Anime Alloy and Genshin Impact. Yeah, that I don't play Genshin Impact, but like, sure, that's a fun use of a character. It's a fun like crossover. I think that's neat. I don't have any problems with that. Okay, so we put that there. We're getting our big robot going here. We need other part here and two dark grays. But yeah, if you got anything else that you were excited about from Gamescom announcements, you can let me know. Otherwise, I'll just talk to you about this thing that I've been thinking about. I tweeted about this because I've been thinking about it. PAX West is still going to happen this year. Like it's happening soon. Like PAX West is around the corner, which got me thinking about how PAX West is happening and New York Comic Con is going to happen. And Anime NYC is going to happen, which Anime NYC isn't the biggest anime convention of the year, but it's still very big. It's still pretty damn big. Uh, and those things are going to happen. All like big, huge events with a lot of people going. And yes, I'm thrilled that PAX put in that you got to have a negative COVID test, you got to have or have your you got to be vaccinated. Like I'm glad they made that step, even if they didn't do it originally. But it's still like I don't know. I see how some people are doing because there have been conventions that people I know have gone to, right? Like um, if you want to take a photo op with Adam Savage, right? That's a huge thing for those for folks like that, right? Those photo op things, huge thing for fans using them. Well, you're standing. There's a plexiglass panel in between you and in him, so you can get a photo. It's just there's also plexiglass like divider in between the two of you or the whatever you. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Like I've been seeing people's boots where they're like, hey, like put the stuff there, and they have the plexiglass with like whatever, like they're trying to do the dividers. They're like, I'm not, people have like at cons have like signs saying like, hey, I'm not touching anybody, um, uh, and like I respect it, but it's just weird. All of it, it's just weird to think about people like going to cons and doing stuff like it's weird to think about how there's going to be a PAX West I'm not at. Like I've been to so many. It's really strange to think about that one running. Like I'm going to watch like streams of some of the panels. Like I guess I'm doing that. I mean, I've been watching panels for the online ones, but it's just weird. Like the idea that PAX West is happening, but PAX Australia was canceled, which was well, they should have. It was smart for them to do that, but like it's just so strange. I don't know. Uh, I tweeted this, and so I do want to also say that here in this moment, um, that I don't hold anything against people that chose to go to the event. I don't hold anything against people that are there to be on panels, or to table, or anybody that makes the decision, or their job requires them to do this work. I'm not against it. I guess I'm more like big picture, top down. Like I can't believe the state of Washington, the city of Seattle, and the people who actually make the big top level decisions at Reed are like, yes, we're doing this. Um, because at the end of the day, like that's who makes these decisions. It's the I trust. I don't trust the convention center not to want to do conventions, no matter what. I don't think they're going to be like, oh yeah, we're not doing a convention. I don't necessarily think about, okay, so that's why this thing is like a power source almost. Oh, you can open it and see inside. That's neat. Um, uh, Pat Gumbel's back. Have I missed anything? We talked a little bit about Gamescom. I'm flabbergasted by a couple announcements. Freedom to pack boxes in the US. Yeah, mostly I'm talking about how like there's already been a few very high profile big conventions, and they're gonna be more and more. I mean, like I think about Lollapalooza being outside and how many people went to that. And, obviously less people went to the big wrestling event in Chicago that recently happened, but like there were still a lot of them all in an enclosed space. Um, I watch a lot of VODs of wrestlers that I like, right? The AEW wrestlers, a bunch of them have VODs. Evil Uno just started a VOD, and like you're seeing indie shows where there's a couple people wearing masks, and there are wrestlers that don't wear masks when they're out and like talking to people, and some do, and I think it's great that they do. Shout out to Colt Cabana, always wearing a mask, wearing an AEW mask often. because Colt Cabana understands marketing and understands branding. Totally gets what merchandise is and should be. Uh, Colt has always fucking got it. Um, but uh, but yeah, it's really weird to just see these people like not taking these things seriously. To like see like wrestling crowds where very few people are masked, be it small or big, in a small small venues, big venues, just to see like these. It's just so weird. Uh, I'm going to it's in Japan next weekend. They're requiring vaccinations, and unlike the con in SAC, they're checking and masks are required at all times. That's awesome. I'm glad. Look, first off, I'm glad that they're requiring these things. Yeah, there was a convention not too far from me that I almost went because a YouTuber I like was gonna be there. It was like an old computers thing here, and it was like not that far away and cheap. But I was like, I'm glad I didn't go. I saw his video that he took from there, and it was just like people touching stuff and rubbing up against each other to get it access to things, and no one safe spaces, no mask requirements, no temperature checks, and I was just like, they basically were like, if you think you have COVID, stay home, and it was like, well, fuck. Uh, it's like I understand that people have to get back to living and doing stuff, and we're kind of being almost forced into that. And I appreciate that people are have to earn a living, but need special pass for the rubbing and touching privileges. Dirty says I booted up Hulu the other day and found that all was right in the small world where I went to the anime section and dot hack was the beginning of the alphabetical list. We talked about that. Yes, I look, if you're gonna categorize dot hack as hack under H, I don't love that. But I've seen it in like the DVDs back in the day of dot hack being like under D for dot, and I'm just like, no, that doesn't. It's the dot. But yes, it should be in alphabetical order. Totally right. So at least they're getting that right. But yes, back to what we were talking about. Um, yeah, it's weird to me that there's going to be a PAX that I won't be at. That just feels very strange to me. I've been to PAX West and East for years and years now. I've only been to two Souths. Was thinking one of these years I would go back to that. Certainly not necessarily looking forward to going to Texas at any point in the near future, but I still like the idea of going to conventions. I just right now feel very weird about the idea of any big, large scale convention. Like I have friends of mine that are traveling to New York for New York Comic Con, and it's just like they're going for work related stuff. They have to go, and I even talked about like if a company wanted me to run a booth, yeah, try living there. Yeah, I hear you. You're not the only Texan in chat, so because I believe Lashbrook's still in chat, right? So I know. Hey, I liked San Antonio. The 2 years that I went to PAX, I enjoyed my time in San Antonio, which was 2 long weekends. That's fine. We're breaking records. Yes, you're breaking records. Last con I went to was RTCon back in 16. I'm not sure I can deal with that many people anymore. Yeah, I will say I did have some mild anxiety when I went to go with my mom to pick up my uncle at the airport, my great uncle at the airport a couple weeks ago or a month ago at this point, and that was a lot of people just in like a smallish airport, and I felt very strange about that. So I could imagine the idea of like I don't know. I have to get back used to be back in the city before I would probably go to a big con. Uh, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I have also said this where if the opportunity arose to work at a convention, I would probably say yes. I am not necessarily in a position to be like really choosy about these things. I don't want to, but I would probably say yes. Uh, which is tough. It's a tough decision to make. All right, we're putting together our big, tall, walking friend here. Uh, I'm going to put some stuff here on the side. Um, Drink a little water here. All right, now it's time to talk about. We're going to change the subject, and we're going to talk about what's Pat been checking out in the world of manga, because I like to check out some manga here and there. Some series I continue immediately. Some series I stop talking. I just stop. I check out like my goal basically is I read like 3 chapters if there are 3 chapters available, or whatever's free on Viz, on Comixology, on so there's always stuff on that. Oh, websites that are putting out previews of stuff that want me to buy the books. I do check out uh, what I can of it. The Shonen Jump app, stuff like that. I do try to check out what they have to offer to see if it's a story. You know, if I want to start getting the books, or if I want to digitally, um, or whatever. Um, so I have a few shows that I want to tell you about. The first one is Isekai Cheat Survival Meshi, uh, which is kind of nice. It's kind of sweet. There is some adventuring, but it's mostly about a dude who is just he camping with his hobby, and now he's camping and cooking in a fantasy world. Um, he died in an accident, and his his big abilities, his cheat abilities that he has, is that he can sense. So analyze or detect is clearly the cheat. That's a cheat for an isekai character, a different world character. His version of sense is that he can sense if food is poisonous or not, and his other ability is he can gain abilities based on, like, he can gain like super abilities based on the food he consumes. Not all the time, but for sometimes. So he can get like different attacks and using wind magic and whatever if he consumes that food. Um, but that this manga fucking loves food. Does he have some ladies that he makes friends with immediately? Yes. Do they mostly hang out and eat food and have a pretty good time? Also, yes. It is basically about survival and spending time with people and having a good old time. Um, Bad Gunpla says, I finally picked up volume 4 of Hot Professor Massacres the Aristocracy the other day. Oh, it's Moriarty the Patriot. Yeah. I haven't watched or read any of Moriarty the Patriot because it falls under my genres or subgenres I'm not interested in, which is anything to do with Sherlock Holmes. Um, Even if it's brilliant, I'm happy if you like it. I know that people enjoyed the anime, or they enjoyed the first part, but they didn't like the second part. I just I don't want to read or do anything in any world of Sherlock Holmes. I'm just Sherlock Holmes out. That anime or manga based on Romance of the Three Kingdoms. Done with that. Just done with all those stories. Mostly done with Journey to the West stuff. I could look. I got tricked into. Um, I like that genre you've checked out on. Yes, that's the genre I'm like, no thanks. The show is fantastic. It's really fun. Take on the stories, and that's fair. That's how I feel about most superhero things. Yeah, I mean that's kind of where I'm at. Like Romance of the Three Kingdoms, Journey to the West, and Sherlock Holmes shit. I'm just done with basically. I'll probably find a good one that I'm really into at some point, but right now that's where I'm at. And then um, I will say that I was tricked into watching a show where a character is Son Goku. He's not Dragon Ball Goku. He's Son Goku, and I was like, you waited till the end to tell me that's Goku, so okay, I'll allow it. I was like, oh, that's Goku, isn't it? God damn it, I got tricked. If they had told me in the first episode that this dude was going to end up being Goku, I might have been less interested. But at that point, I was like, all right, what's up with this Goku? Did I drop a piece somewhere? I don't know what happened to that. missing a piece here, so I'm going to grab it from another thing. Great. And I need this. Cool. We are working on our big robot walker. The secret Goku trick, indeed. Dustin just resubscribed with Prime for 7 months. Thank you so much for doing that. Appreciate it. Was it you that was talking about Super Cub a while back? It's been in my queue for months, but I have zero time to watch things. Yes, Super Cub was one of my favorite shows of the season. It's one of my favorite shows of 2021. Super Cub is incredible. It is a slow, patient, wonderful series about a girl just like fucking trying to make things work. Um, a character who feels like she has nothing and no one, having the opportunity to like fall in love with one particular style of motorcycle, and how her world opens up because that. I think it's fantastic. It's one of my favorite shows. I'm a big old fan of Super Cub. Um, so yeah, Isekai cheat survival meshi, fine. Um, let's see, what other ones do I want to tell you about? Yeah, let's see. Here's one that I might read more of because there was something about it that kind of interested me. And that is, and here's the long title of this. I'm sure there'll be a shorter one at some point, or there won't be. It is called "My Status as an Assassin Obviously Exceeds the Heroes." So the basic, simple premise is a whole class gets isekai'd and everyone gets a job class, right? And they're all like, okay, well, you're this, you're that, you're this. Um, and dude's kind of in the back and he goes, oh, I have the assassin class. Okay, well, let me check stuff out. I don't know comparatively what my skills are. Um, but the first few people that go up to this orb so everyone can see what each other's stats are, he's just like, oh, wow, I'm much stronger than this person. Ooh, I'm much stronger than that person. Wait, I'm stronger than the person that's the hero. I shouldn't be stronger than the hero. Something's up. Like something about this seems wrong. So he just like uses abilities as an assassin to just like peace out and just be like, oh no, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna go hide here. Uh, and he comes to realize that yeah, something's definitely wrong. So he's like, I'm getting training. I'm going to figure some shit out. Uh, and it kind of goes from there. And it's kind of cliche. It's very cliche. It's a very cliche story that I'm like kind of interested in learning more about, but kind of don't care. It's one of those like where I'm like, oh, all right, maybe I'll give this another chance. So that's my status as an assassin obviously exceeds the heroes, and I kind of liked it, but didn't love it. Here's another one that I didn't love because it has a fucking great premise, and then it just isn't good. It's called Summoned to a Parallel World Many Times. Not gonna lie, you can pay me to watch most isekai, but hey, more power to you. Oh, yeah, you can't pay me. Yeah, I enjoy the isekai genre. I like the transfer to different world. I'm going to talk about literally three of those in the second hour that are all anime that I'm watching, which I like for different reasons. But literally, in the second hour, I'm going to talk about three isekai that I enjoyed. Like I said, in different ways, but I do enjoy them. It is a subgenre that I like. Um, but yeah, sub into a parallel fantasy world many times is kind of interesting. So a whole class gets isekai, or not, none of us. Yeah. Um, uh, Dirty says, I can't remember the isekai I found the other day. It's slightly darker protagonist where the main character gets summoned along with his whole class, but he somehow gets re-summoned over and over again, each time getting a new power until he's no longer human. That's literally the one I'm talking about right now. Summoned to a parallel fantasy world many times. Yes, so the premise is this dude gets isekai with everybody else, but then, and everyone gets a power. They like stop on the way, get a power, and then go to this fantasy world. But then he disappears from that world and gets to another one. He comes back to the goddess. And the goddess is like, that's weird. Weren't you just here? And he's like, yes. And she's like, okay, well, I guess I have to give you a new power because you just showed up. And he's like, okay, so here's a new power. And then he like gets, but it happens a bunch. And as he keeps getting these abilities, and also the places he keeps getting summoned to, he um, he gets twisted a little bit. He gets changed a little bit, and that's kind of. And then for some reason, the goddess is like, okay, the next one is the last one, so this is the last time I'll see you. So I'll reorganize all your powers and kind of combine them so it makes sense. And I don't understand why that last one was the last one. It doesn't make any sense. But anyway, the last time he gets summoned to a world where he is like an extra hero. And they're like, you seem really weak. And it's mostly he's weak because one of the powers he got when he got summoned was he's a vampire. And they do all their training outside during the day, so nobody understands that he's actually really strong. But also, he definitely sucks. He's definitely like a shit. He's a shitty edge lord. Like his gear is like lame, and he's lame, and it sucks. Um, so it's definitely not good. Um, So, Summon to a Parallel Fantasy World many times, I don't recommend. I kind of like that even though he's super overpowered, he does have a limiting factor, but I don't think it's going to go anywhere cool. Because it had a chance to be interesting, and then it just feels very by the book. Um, uh, he's not a great guy. He's no retooth healer. Yes, totally. Yet you already said he's a vampire. Don't know why you have to specify he's a shitty edge lord. Yes, totally. Um, I guess isekai are just based on game exploits now. I mean, there are lots of different kinds of isekai, um, uh, including one that I'll talk about right now, which is a reincarnation story that I really like. Um, which is the because I think the premise is one of the best versions of this. Because it's not necessarily reincarnation. He's reborn kind of. Um, it's called "I Became a Legend a decade later after telling my comrades to leave everything to me and retreat first." Um, so that is the title, and I will say it again because it is a long light novel title. I became a legend a decade later after telling my comrades to leave everything to me and retreat first. So the basic premise is um, we got a sorcerer in the heroes party, right? And it's just a couple of them because all of them couldn't go. But they have gone into this realm. They've gone into the rift, and they are fighting the demon lord and all of the other demons there. And they hit the point where they got to retreat. And he's like, "You two go. The hero, you have to go. The right hand man to the hero, you have to go. I'll stay behind and I'll keep fighting." Because his ability is that if you use magic against him, anytime you use magic against him, um, uh, he was like, I can learn any magic you use. So someone used a life force, a life stealing technique on him. He can now do that. And then he also has a technique called marionette, which just basically, while he sleeps, he keeps fighting. He's basically controlling his body to move. And so for 10 years, he's just fighting and then stealing life force and fighting and stealing life force. And then he eventually does kill the demon lord. He just kills the demon lord. And he's like, well, now I guess I can go back. I didn't even realize I was going to do that. I'm now the strongest thing in the world. And because he's been stealing life force, he looks younger. He's actually like become younger than he was when he left. He comes back, and now the hero is the king of the kingdom, and the person that runs the adventure guild was the right hand man, and he's just like, I'm gonna start over. And he's a legendary hero. There's like he's the hero. He's the guy that saved everybody. It's got some good humor as people are like kind of starting to figure out who he is, and like they're like, "Oh yeah, you named yourself after the legendary hero, right?" And he's like, yeah. And eventually they're like, wait, that's the dude. No wonder why he hangs out with the king and the head of the adventuring guild. Um, and yeah, like I said, it's got some really good humor to it. It's very fun. He basically ends up like his hero party involves like somebody was that like sent to assassinate him, and like I think that might be right. I can't remember. Oh, but also like the daughter of one of his best friends, like is like an adventurer and like joins his party. I don't know. It's cute. Is it the unsuccessful yet unparalleled sage, a cheating S rank sorceress post rebirth adventure log? No, that is not it. But yeah, some of them are long. Some of these titles are very long. Um, but yeah, upcoming titles that I will be perusing and probably talking to you about on Saturday include um, the reincarnation magician of the inferior eyes, farming life in another world, and lonely attack on a different world. Uh, farming life in another world, I think has like 100 something chapters. It's like really long, so I don't know like how much I'm going to read of that. But I'll probably check it a little bit out. Lonely Attack on a Different World is the one I think is an interesting idea. That's the one about a dude that has he missed out on claiming abilities from his class, so school class. So he just gets all the leftover ones, which would obviously be bad. But he combines them and uses them very well because he wants to be a loner. But you know what? Here's the thing: he's a loner, but as far as I can tell, he doesn't really want to be alone. He still wants to help. But yeah, I'm gonna probably check that out because it does seem like it might be fun. Um, all right, what do you need? And yeah, the farming one. Apparently, the farming one is real slice of life. Everything goes well. Um, and then reincarnation magician of inferior eyes seems to be about a dude who, if I remember correctly, he's just like, well, we defeated the Demon King, and everyone was like, hey, you should like go away. Like the hero party's like, we're not going to consider you a hero anymore because everyone is fucking terrified of your evil eyes and they think you're a demon. So they're scared of you. And he's like, you know what? Fuck this prejudice. I'm going to go into the future. I bet in the future, people will be more understanding of how cool people with my eye color are. And they won't think that we're evil, overpowered monsters. And he's right, because apparently in the future, everyone just thinks that people with those eye color aren't good magicians. Um, because he has like I think it's something like the magic power in the world is so limited, and you have to train for a long time for his eye color, people with his eye color, to be good at magic. So everyone just gives up and assumes those people aren't good at magic or something. That's what I think it's about. I don't know, but I'm gonna give that a shot. Um, I picked up a manga that had a title that was too dang long, and then I was summoned into this world, and I still don't remember the title. Yes, Aristophan, that's a good bit of business. Um, yeah, that's why like a friend of mine recommended the New Gate to me, which I talked about on stream before. And the reason why he checked out the New Gate was he was like, "Well, it's an isekai that's called the New Gate, and or is it the Gate Saga, something like that, New Gate Saga?" But he was just like, "It's a really short title." So I wanted to check it out, and I was like, "I like that. I like that. That's your justification." He's like, "I don't know. The title was short. I'm gonna give it a shot." Uh, Okay, we've gotten some progress here. I'm going to do one more thing, then we're going to take a pause for the cause, which is what we do here every stream. We'll take a brief moment to talk about ways you can support the channel. We'll do that in just a second here. We're making some progress on one of our big old legs for this thing. Got to build a big old leg. Um, let's jump over here. First and foremost, if you're currently a subscriber to the Build with Bear Workshop, you can throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the Scythe emote in the chat. Let the people know you're a subscriber. Uh, uh, and yeah, and that would be very cool. You can subscribe using Cash Money. You can subscribe using your Prime Gaming Token. We saw both those tonight. We saw people resubbing with their cash monies. We saw people resubbing with their using Prime Gaming. Either way is great. We had some wonderful gift subs last night. We had 5 gift subs, which is fantastic. You gift a sub someone in the community. If you've been gifted a sub, you could convert that to a regular subscription. That is another way to support what I do here, which will be rad. Bits and coins, always appreciated. You can join that leaderboard if that's something you'd like to do. Also, you don't have to do any of those things if you don't want to. You can just hang out. That's totally cool. If you want to support, but you don't think that that's the way to go, it's going for that. Well, Patreon. I still have a Patreon. I'm still using Patreon after all these years. But yeah, patreon.com/PatBaer. There's a $1, a $3, a $5, and a $10 tier. So there are different ways to subscribe. If that's something you'd like to do, you're under no obligation, of course, to do that. If you wanted to subscribe to my YouTube at youtube.com/PatBaer, that's free, obviously, because it's a subscription. But you could join my YouTube with a membership. That's $2 a month, and you get every one of my Wednesday videos, you get a day early. So instead of having to wait, if you would want to check out that video one day early, you get that. And of course, as I said, my Patreon has different rewards for different tiers. We're going to get through this real quick. Then we're going to back to building. Let's see. What else did I want to say? Direct donations. If you want to do a one-time donation, you could do that through PayPal or through various other ways, means, Streamlabs and Coffee. If you want to do that, you're more than welcome to do that. Because anything that comes in through direct donations, YouTube money like AdSense, Patreon, stuff that comes in directly through the Twitch goes into an account, and I take money out of that and buy model kits and equipment. So if you're you want to see me keep building stuff, that is a way to help me with that. There's another way to help me, which is to buy something off my Amazon wish list. Because if you buy something off my wish list, I'll build it on stream. That's what we do there. It jumps the queue as well, so I won't build the Calamity or the Alley Strike or the Strike Noir or the Hello Kitty Harrow, which I have in my backlog. That's my backlog. But you can buy something off my Amazon wish list, and I'll once it comes, I'll shoot a video about it, a separate video about it, and then I'll build that as fast as I can, or before I build anything else. I got Lego sets. I've got high grades, master grades, inexpensive kits, very expensive kits. Kits sometimes go in price. Kits that are why is that $32? I don't know, but it is. And if you buy something off that, as I said, it'll jump the queue. So please consider doing that. Alternatively, as an alternative, I should say, you could buy a gift card at USA Gundam Store. You go to USA Gundam Store, you buy a gift card, then you send me a DM, because my DMs are open, on Twitter, if you wanted to do that. And I would be happy to take that money as a gift card and buy something for USA Gundam Store. That is the alternative to buying something on Amazon, because I understand Amazon is not appealing to everybody. I have a Discord. That's a free way to support me. It's a nice little Discord. People post photos of stuff they're working on. I post a photo after every build stream. I post links to all the videos that I make, so you can find those there. All the archives of streams, I post links to that. That is a thing you could do if that's something you wanted to. I'll have a new Pat Bear's Anime Club up on Monday, but if you missed the last episode of Pat Bear's Anime Club, I talked about why I think you should watch Zombieland Saga and the sequel series, Zombieland Saga Revenge. It's the first idol show I've ever loved. It is incredible, and I go into hopefully great detail in that video. And I've already heard from one person who said, "Oh, that show was in my queue, and I'm checking it out now," which is exactly at the point of making that video. So I'm glad I've heard from at least one person about that. Best of Build with Bear is my weekly series where I take a snippet of something from one of my streams in the past or recent. This one was something that happened last Wednesday, a week ago yesterday, when I encountered a term from Boyfriend Dungeon that really irked me. And so I had to clip that moment where I was just pretty unhappy with the term dunge. D-U-N-J. Dunge. The shorthand for saying dungeon, which is not a shorthand. So yeah, check that out if you missed that clip. My next one might come from last night's stream, my Pokemon Fire Red. It might come from that, or I don't know, it might come from something else. But I'm gonna drink a little water. We're gonna talk about some anime, and I'm gonna continue to work on this Lego set. So let me go and do that. Uh, Dustin says, just finish up the first season of Zombieland Saga. Pretty good. Looking forward to the second. So, Dustin, it's gonna get, it's just as weird. You're gonna get an incredible series of flashback episodes about a character that I love from the show. I won't say anything more except that she finally gets her flashback. Um, it's not the one you actually really want the flashback of, but it's good. It's very good, and very like adult for that show. And there's some fucking kick-ass shit. It's some real good feels and also good songs. Um, and then it fucking goes places. The second season's real good. Okay, it's time to talk anime because we haven't been doing that this whole time. But yeah, we're going to talk about three isekai because that's the shows I'm watching that came out on these few days because I don't like the second season of Dragon Maid, and I am slowly enjoying Aquatope of the White Sand and not weekly reviewing that show. That time I got Reincarnated as a Slime, season 2. Okay. So, if you haven't been keeping up with that time I got reincarnated as a slime, season 2, part 2, 99% anime is isekai in sub form. Totally. I mean, there's 11 isekai out this season. There's 11, and you know, it's it's just a lot because we decided Dragon Maid isn't an isekai. Dragon Maid is like Tenchi Muyo, where it's a bunch of characters from another world coming to the main character's world. Lord Cratchit, there are 11 returning like extra seasons of or new isekai this season. Yeah. I mean, I'm talking about 3 of them, and then there's also like because Irma-kun, the Great Jaw will not be defeated. Um, that time I got reincarnated as a slime. Sunny Boy is an isekai. There's just like a ton of isekai this season. Um, but Dragon Maid is not an isekai. We determined, and some people say that Welcome to Demon School Irma-kun isn't an isekai, and I say those people are wrong, because the demon world like is still a different world than the one that Irma is from. So I think it totally counts. All right, I think we finished one of these legs. Anyway, that time I got reincarnated as a slime, season 2, part 2. Uh, Basically, it's war. Clayman's troops got just fucking decimated. Fuck those dudes. Those dudes suck shit. They didn't do anything. There's like one commander left. It's totally cool. Everything's gonna go actually pretty good. Except they are running into some problems. Wait, so this is gonna goes wait. Oh, it goes like that. Okay, yeah. They are running into some problems with Midray. So Milliam, the dragon lord, she doesn't necessarily have subjects, but uh, there are folks that are uh, they're not dragon newts, but they are descendants of dragons, and they have chosen to follow Milliam and to her. Okay, this is not going to stand up on its own, obviously, but we'll get the other part on, and then it'll stand up. Um, but anyway, yeah. So Midray, who is like the head of them, is definitely like very strong. It is clear that he is super strong. Um, and Sufia and Gabaru have a lovely chat with him before they fight, which is really nice. Of being like, "Hey, thanks for not killing any of my people," and like, "Yeah, it's all right. Everything's kind of cool." Um, Albus transforms and she defeats Yamza, which was the only terrifying member of Clayman's troops that was there, except that Clayman doesn't let him surrender. Instead, Clayman activates this thing which turns him into this monster, Charbitus, which they've already defeated a version of before. This is an incomplete one, but it's going to give everybody some fucking trouble. It's going to be bad news. That's the plan anyway. Um, and they're all like the dragon newts and the dragon worshippers and all of the beast people are all like, all right, let's rally together. Let's have a truce, and we got to take this out because this is going to wreak havoc anywhere. It does not matter, um, because Benimaru has gotten some new abilities and is so strong that he like insta kills this dude. Uses his flame, totally destroys it. Lasper says, "Boy, after working on a perfect grade for a long time, I forgot how fast high grades go. It's like I took off the training weights." Yes. Oh, a 144 high grade? Ooh, that takes no time at all when you've been working on a perfect grade. Everything just snaps together and looks great. And like 8 pieces later, you got yourself an arm. No problem. Instead of 8 pieces for a finger. Totally. Um, anyway, it looks like Benimaru and Midray are gonna fight, but then their subordinates are like, "Please don't fight, please don't fight, please don't fight." And they're like, "Yeah, we know. We just want to." Like they're very much like, we want to find out who's the stronger of the two of us. Um, the two clowns thankfully don't kill Geld, who's one of my favorite fucking characters in the show, and Phobia, who I'm meh about. But they don't kill Geld, but they do get away, and they were definitely toying with them. But all of Clayman's troops are defeated or captured, and it is a total victory. And we do know that 3 of the other Kinshin are going to attack. They're on their way to go attack Clayman's fortress. So we'll see how that goes. And I think in the next episode. I love the top comment on that was, "I don't care about these fights." I saw in Crunchyroll the very top comment. I don't usually read comments, but it was the top one. Someone was just like, "I don't want to see these fights. I want to see Rimuru at the dinner." And it's just like, I know the context of what that means, but I love the idea that someone's just like, "Nah, man, I want to see that slime eat some food." And I understand that it's like gonna meet other demon lords, but it was just very funny to me that that's like that's this person's priorities. It's not like cool battle shit. It's just like, when is the slime get to eat a meal? Uh, all right. And now let's change gears to Drugstore in Another World, the slow life of a cheat pharmacist, aka the polar opposite. Um, Although I will say, this episode specifically had a touching moments in it. This is mostly a very light show where nothing really happens, and usually it's like 2 stories. Each was like a chapter or 2 chapters in the manga. Very simple. The anime itself, like neither the anime nor the manga explain how this dude got isekai'd. The anime doesn't even explain how he got himself a pharmacy. At least the manga does that, because I've read some of the manga. I at least read the beginning because I was like, I want to know more about what's going on here. But basically, this dude got isekai. Turns out his knowledge of pharmaceuticals and his abilities, he can make potions that are, common household items in his world that people really like and they really think is great. And they call him an alchemist, and he's like, "I'm a pharmacist." But also, he does make shit that is impossible, that is just like nonsense shit that he shouldn't be able to make in any way, shape, or form. He's just also able to do that, which is very weird. But in this episode, he makes he goes to the lord of the area where he's had interactions with her daughter, and he's just like, "Hey, thanks for helping my wife out before. Thanks for helping my daughter and giving her some real life experience by her working in your store. Also, hey, what the fuck, man? Stop trying to steal my daughter away from me." And so Reggie's just like, "That's not what I'm doing. The problem you're having with your daughter is that she's like getting older, and she's hit the phase where she doesn't like her dad." It's just like, that can't be it. What are you talking about? So Reggie comes up with like a soap to like help him. He's like, "Well, she said I was dirty," and he was like, "That's not what she meant," but like, okay. So he comes up with like a good soap or whatever that helps, but mostly he just has to act like he's trying to steal her Elaine away from the Lord, so that he then is honest about like his feelings about her and like how like he loves her and whatever. And he's like, I don't care if she's mad at me right now. She should know I always loved her. Blah blah blah. It's a nice little moment. It works out okay. Uh, but like whatever. That's the first story. Um, and then the second story is the one that's actually pretty sad. So the house that he bought to become like the pharmacy and where he lived is there's a ghost there. And we get in a flashback how he moved in. She was just like, I'm not a ghost. I'm the guardian spirit of this house. It's like, no, you're the ghost of a girl that died in this house. And you just still hang out here. That's fine. You can stay. I'm going to open up a pharmacy and I guess you can hang out if you want. And she's just like, oh, okay, I will. And I'll work there because I'm a ghost, but I want to work for you. Which doesn't make any sense, but sure. Okay, now how does this stand up? It's got to go at like an angle, and then this goes at like an angle like this. Okay. All right, I guess this stands up. Oh, we got to put toes on this thing. Don't worry, everybody. This thing has feet, so I gotta put toes on the feet. I guess that will hopefully help it balance. Why didn't I put those on before? Whatever. Um, so anyway, the long story short of this one is uh, Reggie helps Mia out because Mia is sick, which feels weird for a ghost, but sure. And we find out that Mia died as a child and was sick for a long time, and she always feels like her family must have hated her. But we find out no, that's not true, and so Mia has like a very nice moment. Um, and yeah, it's a sweet little moment for a fun character that like doesn't have a lot going on. And yeah, it was a touching. It was actually like pretty touching as far as the episodes go, and was very weird considering the tone. The tone was just different. And yeah, they do a flashback about how they met, which is great because, as I said, they fucking don't do that shit anywhere else in the show. So that was neat. Okay, so we got our big walker done before we talk about the last show, and we can put the robot here in this thing. So we'll do that. So here, let me show you the big walker. Here's a big walker friend. It's got a little robot friend inside and the piloting it, which is great. I also have a minifig of not Lando. What am I saying? Of Han Solo that we can put in there as well. But yeah, here's the walker. I'm gonna take a photo of this, and then I'm gonna start breaking this thing down so that we can build the last thing we need to do, which is the transport, which will be the least amount of pieces that we need. But we do have to break this down first. But I can't just break it down. I got to take a photo of it first. All right, so the last one we got to talk about is Tsukimichi, Moonlight Fantasy, which is again a isekai. Let me take a photo like this. I think that'll be neat. This is hard to take a photo of because the legs are so tall. Yeah. Um, all right, so now I got to take this whole thing apart. And while I take this apart, we'll talk about Tsukimichi Moonlight Fantasy, um, which is the story of a dude who his parents were from a fantasy world and went to Japan and then had him. And the deal they made with the goddess to be able to leave was that someday that basically Makoto would go back to this fantasy world to be a hero or something. And he gets there, and then the goddess who summoned him is just like, ew, you are very ugly, get out of here, and like banishes him to the outer edges of the world. I guess expecting him to be killed or something. But she's just like, stay away from humans, get out of here. So he survives, he thrives in the worlds that he's in. He's going on some adventures. He is trying to do stuff like his parents did, who were adventurers. He's trying to like follow their example and follow their path, and have some adventures. He's got some friends with him. They are like colossally strong demons from uh, that look like humans. He's met a few fun humans that have like helped him out because he's in disguise. But yeah, he's mostly just like going about his business, doing his thing. Um, there's a problem in the demiplane because the warriors are discouraged in their training because Makoto's so strong, but also the people training him are like impossibly strong. So uh, Makoto has the idea that they should like fight against each other, like because it'll give them the possibilities of like room to grow. So it's like, well, the lizard men are good at this, but the orcs are good at this, and if you fight together, you can learn how to do better. So he's like, there's going to be ranked matches, and I want you all to get stronger in these mock battles and learn from one another and steal from one another and all that, uh, which seems like it'll work out. Um, Tomoe, who is the Dragon Lord, she basically has been tasked with training up new adventurers, new top adventurers for the guild in the town that Makoto has been working in because they crushed a lot of the other adventurers that had been misled, but also they crushed them. So she trains a bunch of people that we know from earlier episodes. Um, and her methods are very harsh, but they seem to get results. And it looks like either that's like now we got a new great hero party, and it's fun because these are characters that like we didn't get to see a lot of because they didn't have to do anything. But I like the idea of the tank, the like heavy damage person in the front, being a dwarf, a dwarf lady. I think dwarf lady fighter is just like cool to see in an anime. Um, and that there's also a lady rogue in the group, and that the healer is also the alchemist from a previous episode, and he's just like, it's like, no, no, you don't have to if you don't want to, worry about healing. If they do the things right, you don't have to focus on healing. You can just in the battle, and then you can do more offensive spells, and like trying to train where the archer should go. Like it's all like very simple tactics, but it really does help them. They really do step up what they need to do. Um, and it looks like that Makoto is going to uh, go and uh, open up a store in some like neutral city, but rent space in Patrick Rembrandt, who we saw is like a good guy, but maybe not a great guy. Um, and then also Mia has been tasked with, or Mio, I should say, has been tasked with going into a forest to find a rare ingredient. And it looks like there's some characters that are going to be introduced, maybe in that forest, that seem tough, but they probably aren't. But they also could be new characters we get to see. I don't know. So yeah, overall, kind of interesting, decent enough episode. I like where this show is going. Like I said, I like the premise a lot. As far as isekais go, I think it's a fun premise of like a dude that just gets like completely rejected. One thing that is weird about it is that like we see him like solving like comical problems, but we don't see him solving like big problems. Like there's not a lot of action coming from the main character, even though he is super overpowered and can just do shit. Like last week's episode, he got to do a little more. But kind of waiting for him to like run into a problem to see what he does in that situation, because I think that would be interesting. Anyway, that is the what I have been watching. What have y'all been watching? Watching any TV? Watching any? Um, I'm still obsessed with this episode of season two because season two is airing. Of now I'm watching it in real time. Uh, season two of the New Zealand version of Taskmaster. They did a escape room. Basically, they did like a puzzle room, an escape room inside a caravan, like a trailer behind your truck caravan. They did like a whole escape room, and it was fucking brilliant. It's amazing to watch like somebody just bang their head against the wall trying to do it, and then also there was like somebody who was just having an incredibly great time doing it, which was very, very like fun to watch. I don't know. It was very cool. I recommend it. It was a great episode. There was other stuff in the episode that was good too, but that was really great. I think the New Zealand version. Also, Guy Montgomery is like a dude I've listened to on podcasts for years, so it's very fun to hear him like or to see him be in a thing. Um, but yeah, if you have watched anything on YouTube or on TV, or if you're watching any anime, if you're streaming anything that you like, let me know. I always like to hear what you're watching and what you're consuming. We got some time left on the stream to talk about that. Um, just before this, says Lashbrook, I was watching the first episode of Gundam Build Real. They uploaded on Gundam Info's YouTube channel. Ooh, did they upload that? I do want to check that out because I want to talk about that. So I will check that out. Lashbrook, I'm glad you let me know. Guess it's live action build fighters, basically, right? Yeah. It's a live action Gundam thing about like people that fight with Gundams and like like an AR thing, I guess. I saw like trailers for it, and then I did see a fan subtitled trailer. Um, but I'll have to check that out. I didn't know that was out. I'm gonna write that down. First episode of Gundam Build Real. I'm gonna copy and paste so that I can look at that later. There we go. I'm 3 episodes from finishing out entirety of Supernatural, says Dirty. I don't think I will be watching them since if I didn't. Oh, okay. I don't think I'll be watching them since if I don't, then the series won't end. Yes, Dirty. For you anyway, the series will continue because you haven't finished it. I hear you. There was an anime. It was like I forget what it was called. I totally forget. But I just didn't want to see the series end, so I didn't watch the finale for like 2 years after it had come out because I was like, nope, not ready to close this one out. And then eventually I was like, okay, I can close it out. Um, I don't know if they're uploading any more episodes, but they added the G-Reco movies for the Gundam Expo too. Oh, nice. Yeah. Oh, also, yeah, there's the Gundam Expo is happening. I haven't been paying attention to it. I looked at some of the model kits that were going up for sale. I mean, look, if you got the money and you could have gotten that before it went out, like obviously the Epion paint job is beautiful. That's a beautiful looking kit. I don't got the money for regular kits or special kits. The Zaku Warrior live band paint job is pretty fun looking too. I bet there are more of those available because that's like the Zaku Warrior. Well, first of all, the Zaku Warrior is a fun Zaku kit. It's got cool weapons and a big shield, but that paint job's pretty good. Um, but yeah, I don't know what they're still selling, what's available, but I'll check that stuff out. But yeah, if people got anything else that they're indulging in lately, feel free to let me know because I do like to hear what you're up to out there and what you're watching and checking out. But if you're not checking out anything, that's okay. You don't have to tell me. I'm not a cop. You don't have to tell me anything. Let's see. Am I indulging in anything else? I've been reading a lot of manga. That's honestly what I've been doing. I've been having like background music playing, and I've been reading manga. I read the latest manhwa, it was South Korean. I read the latest episode of Solo Leveling because I am fucking caught up on Solo Leveling, and I can't believe that I got caught up right before, like literally, like hours before this one came out, and I was like, oh god, when's the next one? Okay, Solo Leveling fucking kicks ass. Uh, Especially now, it's getting. I mean, look, it's a long story, and there's some downtime where I'm like, this isn't the best, but it got real good, and it is going places, and I think we're gonna get. It's gonna end up with some cool shit, and then we're gonna get a reunion between two characters. We don't know much about one of the characters, but we know a lot about the other, and I was like, that's rad. Um, I started watching Deep Space Nine for the first time. I'm only like 8 episodes in. It's pretty good. Bashir is so thirsty. So, when Cisco shaves his head, that show becomes incredible. And then eventually they figure out what to do with Bashir, and it's pretty good. Um, Tiny Dax is the best Dax. Off topic, I ended up buying 8 pounds of popcorn kernels and a dozen bottles of oil, so now I'm covered up in snack food for the next few months. Yep. Until you get sick of popcorn and you need to do something else, you're pretty good on snacks. Uh, but yeah, that sounds fun. I don't know how I'm gonna get this off. I'm gonna pry it off here. There we go. Got it off. I'm separating the bricks, setting myself for another one. Tiny Axe. I mean, Ezra's good. I mean, I do like Jedzia a lot. I think Ezri Dax is like a fun idea to like, oh yeah, well now we got a new symbiote, or we got a new host, and now we'll see how everyone deals with that. But I don't necessarily love what they did with the character long term. Um, but also, Lashbrook, if you keep going, it's a weird thing to say, but like I can't believe that a Ferengi is my favorite character in a Star Trek series, but that show does such good work for the Ferengi and makes them so much like, yes. Does it take it from being like, does it start with, does this seem racist? Yes. Does it take it in interesting directions the more they explore the characters and their motivations and the individual Ferengi and paint the entire caricature in a better light? Yes. Uh, Spoilers, people. I mean, sorry, Lashbrook. Um, I am sorry that I told you that there are multiple Daxes, uh, and I'm sorry that you didn't know that that actress left the show so she could be the romantic lead on Becker. So I do apologize for telling you about a big, huge thing that was news in the time that you've been alive. Um, but uh, but yeah, um, the original actress for the original Dax actress did not enjoy being on Star Trek and left it so that she could be the romantic opposite on the TV show Becker about a mean man who goes to a coffee shop all the time. Uh, so I guess she won? Question mark. Anyway, DS9 has a few good romances. Totally has really fun characters. Um, all over the place. Great supporting cast. Focuses a little too much on a character I don't care about. From maybe there's maybe some minor characters that I never give a shit about, and I wish they didn't spend so much time on them. But overall, real good. Um, just a good time. Uh, what else was I gonna say? Um, oh, okay. Dead Zone, pretty good. Yes. Yeah, Dead Zone's not bad. And that actress was in that. Yes. Let's see what I was gonna say. What else was I watching? I wasn't really watching much. Like I said, still watching Taskmaster New Zealand as it comes out. That's been great to check out. Um, Going back to some old stuff, just watching old things again in the background as I read stuff. So what's up with these celebs with questionable grooming habits? Lord question, I don't fucking know. At first I thought it was um like a not an ARG, but like, oh, someone's talking about like how they don't bathe. Is this like a tie-in with something that I don't know about? I do like the celebrities that are like getting asked like, "Hey, you've heard about this bullshit. Do you bathe?" And they have and like celebrities having to be like, "Yeah, I shower every day." And there was like The Rock is like, "I shower 4 times a day," and people were like, "That's too much." And I'm like, "Not if you're The Rock." Like if I worked out and consumed the amount of food that The Rock does, I would also shower all the fucking time. Um, Part of that I only remembered him from Weird Science. Oh but yeah, that whole thing is bizarre as hell. All of that is weird about the like no clean the don't shower celebrities is like a weird thing. And I was like, is this like a detox thing? Is this is this a goop thing? I don't know. I don't know the origins of it, but I do love that people were like, The Rock showers too much. That was like a trend. That wasn't like a trending topic, but that was like a topic of discussion. Because the rock shower is too much. Um, let's see. Overwatch's open letter is in poor taste, and I don't give a shit. I don't care. I don't care. You work for a shitty company. I don't care. Like, I'm not going to get super into this again, but like, read their open letter if you want, because it basically comes down to like, hey, please focus on how great our game is and how like we're doing all this other stuff. And it's like, yeah, I do think that a guy who was let go from the company that a character was named after should have a name change. I agree that McCree should have a name change because you fired the guy who was also like clearly garbage. And I think that is like totally reasonable and totally good. But also, you don't get a pat in the back. Like, no one on the Overwatch team gets like a thumbs up and you're good just because they're in a bad situation. Like, no, you don't get those things. The focus is on how your company is shit. It's like, and that's going to keep being the focus. The focus is never going to be on how good Overwatch 2 is. Like, nah. It's like, okay. It's like, yeah, it's cool that in a fucking comic book, we find out that one of your characters is in love with another woman. That's cool. That shit ain't in the game. That's just in the comic book attached to the game. That's basically just Tumblr shit. Like, get the fuck out of here. Clean your house. And then clean your house. And then we can tell you how nice your house is. But if your house isn't clean, spraying, Febreze all over the place, I'm not going to be like, oh, great job. Uh, Lord Crashington has been watching The Simpsons from the beginning, which the internet says is a bad part of the show. So here's the thing. The Tracy Ullman shorts are really weird and are Matt Groening figuring shit out on television, which is awesome. The first couple series are good, are certainly very good. Oh, we're getting some drop frames here. I hope everything's working out. If you're watching the later archive of this, you will not see this. But, oh, I got disconnected. Hopefully I'll get reconnected. Hopefully. We don't have much time left on the stream, so hopefully we'll get reconnected here. I'm going to leave this in, folks. But yeah, it looks like I've been disconnected, and then I've been reconnected. Ooh, looks like I've been reconnected. I'm back. I'm going to put refresh. I'm going to type refresh in there because I was disconnected, and it looks like I'm back. So sorry to everybody. I was saying about The Simpsons. The Simpsons starts out great. It starts out like weird and then gets like good. And it takes a while to get good. And then it's very good for a very long time. And then it's bad. It was bad. And then there was a season where all of the great writers didn't work on the show so they could work on the movie. And that season is unbelievably terrible. And it, in my opinion, never recovered from the movie year season, which obviously it was years before the movie came out. But that year is so bad of The Simpsons that it like really fucked things up for a very long time. And I have a friend who writes for The Simpsons, and I've never seen a single thing that she's written for it because I just have no interest in going and watching it at this point. Also, that's the bare minimum for a team that has little power in that company. Yeah, Lord Crashington, it's basically just like make your statement saying you support survivors, saying that you support people. When we find out that, like, I can't tell you that I'm gonna like cheer for you and your dev team at a company where the HR department had their documents that basically claimed that the HR department shredded evidence of impropriety. Like, I'm not going to be like, well, let's focus on how good the new stuff, the trailer is. Like, no, you don't get to do. Like, I'm not going to talk about like Call of Duty. Like, sorry, I'm never going to talk about Call of Duty anyway. I'm certainly not going to talk about it in light of other things. Laura Gretchen says, I really like season 1 and 2 of The Simpsons, though they're still finding their footing that early on. Yeah, the show doesn't know that it's not. Hmm. The show doesn't know that it's going to be actually about Homer. And it is trying to be about either the whole family or eventually, pretty fast, realizes that they want it to be about Bart, and it doesn't realize that the actual funny best part of the best parts of the show are Homer Simpson. Like Homer Simpson is not like the original version of Homer Simpson. He's just like an angry dad, a somewhat justifiably very angry dad is all we get in that show, and then eventually you get the why of it, and you get like the reasons for it, and then you get a goofy version of him. But originally, he's just like a mean dad to a rambunctious kid, and a know-it-all, and a baby. But eventually, once Homer becomes just complete nonsense, then the show really actually takes off. But it takes a very long time to get there. We'll talk for a little bit because we did go away and then come back. We'll get a little bit of progress done on this. Obviously, the final build will be the Walker here, our like transport carrier, which we'll be spending a lot of time on Saturday, along with something else I'll be building. I don't know what that's going to be, but my $10 patrons will decide. It'll be a model kit because that's all I've got in my backlog. Is I've got 4 model kits, so they're going to vote on a model kit I build. I know that to be true. But beyond that, I don't know. We're going to build a little. We got time left in the stream to build a little alien. We're just going to build a little alien. Uh, need 2 eyes and a white piece and the green. Okay. Lord Grester says, I talk shit about the internet. It took down the stream. Indeed. Sometimes when you talk shit, the shit dog's back. Booyah. I don't know why I said booyah there. That was unnecessary. Uh, but booyah. We'll just say that. But anyway, we're gonna build an alien, and we'll probably leave it at that. Once we build the alien, we'll get out of here. Of course, we're gonna raid at the end of the stream. If you were like, Pat, that's weird that this time you're not gonna raid. You're wrong. We are gonna raid. Oh, also, I'm gonna keep saying this. Next Wednesday, I'm not gonna stream. September 1st, I am taking the day off. I fully respect everyone who chooses to stream because they, for revenue, or because they stream every day, or because they're just like, I'm not going to let them win. I don't particularly respect the people who are like, call to actions don't work and group activities don't work like this, and it doesn't change anything, because I do think it does. But people that have a very good reason for continuing to stream, totally respect that. But I have the option to not stream on Wednesday, so I will be. But instead, basically at noon, 3 p.m., 5 p.m., and 7 p.m., and 9 p.m., when I normally tweet about my streams, I will instead be talking about what I would like to see Twitch do, as a call to action, using the hashtag and all of that, because there are. It should not be in the hands of the community to do these things. The community should not be listing all of these bots, listing all of these banned words themselves, going through all of this, having the chat box thing of and having a panic button, having shush bot, have a panic button to lock things out. Having the third party panic button, stuff like that, like definitely should not be a thing that streamers have to go do on their own. There should be tools. There should be work. If a account gets created and within an hour has thousands of followers, then that you should not have thousands of followers if you've never streamed. Like any account that's never had a stream should not have followers like that. That should be easy to find, and it should be easy for Twitch to take care of. So I'll be talking about ways that they can support actual streamers doing the actual work. hopefully, we can all, kind of rally together to facilitate some sort of change by working together. So I'm hoping uh, that other people are also not going to stream. I'm hoping some big profile people are going to stream. I'm hoping that people who are watching streams on Wednesday will also communicate why they think it sucks. Uh, I think Patrick Rothfuss and AOC would disagree with that premise. Oh yeah, I mean yeah, uh, sure. But basically, the idea is that the Twitch do better, I think, is a valid and honest thing, and I would like to see Twitch do better. So hopefully, we can force them to be a more responsible company. Anyway, we're gonna raid. I've talked too much. I got too mad about a lot of things. So I'm gonna figure out who is who is streaming right now that we can go give a raid to, because it's nice when we can go give a raid to somebody. So we're gonna go see who is streaming that we want to go hang out with. And I'll be back on Saturday 9 p.m. Eastern, continuing to work on a model kit. So hey, Xandra's playing Horizon's Gate, so we're gonna go hang out with Xandra. It's pirate time with Aura Moon, is what Xandra says. We always love rating Xandra. Xandra rules, and we're gonna go see what's going on in there. Uh, so we're gonna go hang out with Xandra. So please come along on this raid. I hope you have a great rest of your night, and I'll see you on the next stream in a second. But let's go do this. Come along on this raid. I'm just gonna see what this game is, hang out with a lovely person. I hope you come along on this. We were not going to have too many people in there because we did have to get disconnected, but we'll have enough people to go hang out. Thanks for being here. Have a great evening. I'll see you in the next stream. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.